the last race, y'all. It is the final race of the season, which is like, what? I guess it is a short season. 5 weeks, 5 races. It just seemed like it went by way faster than that. But no, it did not go by faster. This is what it is, and I am mistaken. Is it 6 rounds total? Yeah, 6 rounds total, because we did Sardinia, we did Sardinia twice, we did 3 Lago Maggiores, and now Monza. Yeah, got it. Come on, load it up. It's trying. It is trying. Here we are. I'm gonna pause it so that we can take a look at the standings before we start the race. Might as well turn all of this on. Why don't we take a look and see where people are starting right now? So for GR3, we've got Doug Barrow up front, followed by Hairraiser, our 2 Alfa Romeos, which means we're missing for the final race. Really? We're missing Big Red in the Ferrari. Okay. We've got Team B Racing sitting in 3rd. It looks like they're in a Lambo. Dom Danger 87. I do not know. Bar? Who this man? Bar? Who are these people? I'm glad that they're filling in the GR3 grid, though. That I like that part. So Dom Danger in 4th. Then we have got Bar starting in 1st place for GR4 is Ferrari, followed by Supra in 6th place. Type R in 7th. And Happy Pappy is going to round out the GR4 field in 8th. So we've got 8 drivers here just getting ready to take the lights. Well, you know, since we have a couple new cars, we might as well do the grid walk now. We have to, right? We have to. It's necessary. So this was Doug and Hairraiser at the start here. I already forgot the name that I said for this person. I already forgot, which, you know, here we are. New driver. And Dom. I remember that name. Dom something. This is actually a GR4 Alpha. So Bar not in 1st place for GR4. Dom is in 1st for GR4. Coming in with that Alfa Romeo. Then Bar in the Ferrari. And then, of course, Supra in his Lambo. Wait a minute. Bar, Supra? I just now noticed that you both had Winding Road Racing as your sponsor. Anyway, Type R in that red Ferrari there, and then Happy Pappy, who I don't think we've seen for a couple of races, in that chrome green Lambo. So, new drivers on the grid for our final race, which is good because it means that we still have a decent grid here. I don't think we've had more than 8 or 9 drivers for each race, so it's nice to have that same size. Let's get into it. Let's get going. Let's get started. Team B7 Racing. That's what I couldn't think about in the third place Lambo. Lights are going off soon, and green. Everyone is off. Of course, the Ferraris with a good launch, but there are no Ferraris in GR3, so the GR3 cars are going to go ahead and run away from GR4 here. Hairraiser and Doug, of course, are racing for the top championship spot. Ooh, I have to pause. I forgot we were going to talk about the championship standings before we really get going. Oh, I'm so sorry to got the excitement going and then I just yanked that out. Sorry guys, yanked it out from under you. But these are our standings. You've got Hairraiser at the very top. That's Hairraiser in the red Alfa Romeo you're looking at right here. But Doug is very close behind, only 6 points behind. And so if Doug finishes in first place ahead of Hairraiser, then that's the championship 1. Ben MK is not in the race at all. Big Red also not in the race, but sitting in 3rd place in the championship, and will probably keep that since there's nobody behind to take those points. We haven't seen Vlave in a while. Space Dragon Swift doesn't matter. Team B7 we saw at Lago Maggiore East for the first time, has 5 points in the championship, and so is back in this race, but isn't really a contender for the championship. So at this point, it's really a race between Hairraiser and Doug that we're watching here in GT3. In GT4, the championship is also incredibly close, even closer, in fact. Bar with 97 points, Supra with 93 points. Both drivers are in today. Their usual fight for first, is a little bit spoiled by the appearance of Dom Danger 87, but Dom isn't really in the fight for the championship. This is their first race showing up to, so it's still a race between Bar and Supra, and just like Hairraiser and Doug, whoever finishes ahead of the other is going to take that championship. Type R is sitting in 3rd. I wouldn't say solidly in 3rd, though. Happy Pappy, well, maybe. He's got 58 points. Happy Pappy's got 42 points. So, what's that, 16 points behind? Yeah. Actually, I don't think there's a chance for Happy to take that from Type R. So I think Type R is going to own 3rd in the championship here. And Monkey Mafia is not in the race. Who am I missing? Type R? That's everyone. That is everyone who's currently on track. So there we are for the standings. Now we know what's going on. Now we know the stories. Let's go. We've already got some drama for Happy Pappy in the first chicane. We can actually go back and watch that because, I mean, it's the first chicane. You have to see it. We're going to watch from Type R's view here because there's Happy right in front. Actually, that was Team B7 Racing that happened to. Supra up the inside of Dom Danger there. And it looks like Type R just kind of, or not Type R, I'm sorry. Team B7 just kind of took himself out in the first chicane there, which is fine. It happens. Meanwhile, we've got Hairraiser and Doug side by side almost, going through the curve whose name I can't remember right now as they enter the second chicane. Still Doug up front, though. They're going to head towards those two Lesmos. Let's see what's going on with the chicane for everyone else. Everyone else through very cleanly. We've just got Team B7 there, who is sitting in the middle of the GR4 field and needs to get up past Bar, Supra, and Dom to get back into the GR3 field. Meanwhile, Doug and Hairraiser are running away as the only two GR3 cars up front. It's a familiar sight. Hairraiser following in Doug's slipstream here. It's going to see if he's going to stay in there and follow along for a few laps, or if he's going to go ahead and jump ahead of Doug. No telling here. Dom Danger has already put a decent gap on, never mind, there's Supra right there. It looked like he had a gap as they went through Ascari, but that's not the case. Supra is right there in his slipstream. Here is B7 making his way through the field. Just got past Bar and should be catching up to Supra and Dom soon. Here's Supra making a move into the Parabolica, but goes super wide and ends up having to jump off the throttle to get the car back under control and get it back on track. That's going to give Dom an even bigger gap to him. Here comes B7 to split them. Maybe Supra can take a tow from B7 to get a little bit closer to Dom. And yeah, that kind of worked. He does get a bit closer as they enter the first chicane here, and it should be in Dom's slipstream for the second chicane and the rest of the lap, luckily. Meanwhile, Team B is going to move on and try to catch up to Doug and Hairraiser, and that's going to be a tall order because he is, let's see how far back he is. Team B is 10 seconds behind Doug already, so a huge loss for Team B there, messing up that first chicane in the very first lap and getting stuck in GR4 traffic for a while. 10 seconds is not going to be easy to overcome, especially not with these two drivers being so fast. Let's see what's Dom got going on. Dom Danger is in danger. Ha 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 ha. That was corny. Why did y'all let me do that? Don't let me say jokes like that. Just stop me. Cut off my mic before I do it. Anyway, Dom Danger, I'm gonna say it again, is in danger from Supra, who's just behind in his slipstream. I don't see that Supra's making any moves, but maybe the opportunity just hasn't really come in. He's gonna show the nose here as they go into Ascari. He's not really gonna do anything though. Yep, tucks back in. Oh, there is Team B Racing off the track again, and again it's gonna get stuck in GR4 traffic. It's not gonna be Team B's day. I understand Ascari is tough. What happened here? Just does not brake in time, and the back end of that Lambo comes around on him as well. It is a mid-engine car. There's a lot of weight back there, and if it gets too sideways, it's going to come to the front. It's just what it does. And so Team B, you're going to have to make that climb again, that climb back through GR4. Meanwhile, the bottom of GR4, we've got Happy Pappy still up ahead of Type R, and that is going to be the end of that train. Up front, Doug and Hairraiser. That was Hairraiser looking up the inside for the first chicane. Nothing doing though. I think again just probably ends up in Doug's slipstream and has to go somewhere, right? Slipstream is very effective in pulling you along, especially in a really long front straight like Monza has. So by the time you get to the end of it, if you're already pretty close to the car, you're going to probably end up side by side, or else you're going to end up inside of the car, which is not what we want, of course. So Hairraiser still just sticking behind Doug. Here they go through Lesmo 1, Lesmo 2, the two right-handed twins. Not really twins. They're not twin corners exactly. In fact, Lesmo 1 is not a hairpin. I think it's less than 90 degrees though. I'm pretty sure it's an acute angle. Meanwhile, Lesmo 2 is the opposite. It is more than 90 degrees. So it's a little bit faster than you think. And Lesmo 1 is a little bit slower than you think. They're tricky corners. Trickier than you think, rather, to get through them quickly. But these two do it well. Supra is past Dom Danger. Supra was sitting there in his slipstream, I'm sure. Was able to make an easy slipstream pass there. Barr is in the fight now, though, between the two of them. I think he should be in slip range. It looks like he is, absolutely. That looks like less than half a second, in fact. And so he is right into this fight for first place between Super Dom and now Barr. B7 is way far behind them. This is from B7's camera, looking at Barr and that group of three. And behind him, he has left Happy and SPG Type R way behind. What happened to... Okay, never mind. This is right. Happy and then SPG. Barr, yes, is in slipstream. Kind of barely in there. Not that close. Looks like that gap is 0.732, which is just inside of it. May not quite be enough, in fact. But if Team B7 makes the pass in the right place here, Barr may be able to get a slipstream to get closer to these two off of him. But here is Supra and Dom going side by side into the first chicane. They've been going back and forth here, and if I'm Barr, I'm just waiting for one of them to make a mistake. Give me a chance. Fighting is not fast. Going side by side through stuff is not fast. They go through Biasono here, headed into the second chicane. Who's going to break first? Who's got track position? It kind of depends on how you like to take the chicane. It looks like Supra goes ahead and takes it, though, and ends up ahead of Dom Danger and takes first place for GR4, but gets a penalty doing it. That makes sense. The track limits here are pretty unforgiving as far as the chicanes go, and he probably got all four tires over. And he's into the kitty litter in Lesmo 2. Luckily, he doesn't spin it, but you saw the back end start to kind of want to come around on him. That's exactly what happens there if you get your right-hand side tires in the sand trap there. It will pull that left hand back end away from you and spin you right into the wall on the other side. So lucky for Supra that didn't happen, and it didn't seem to slow him down too much either, because he didn't lose a position to either Dom or Barr in that straight. But now they are both right in his back seat headed into the Parabolica, the last corner. Very tricky corner. You got to know exactly where to brake for it. Ooh, Dom with a move up the inside, and I don't know if there's a little bit of a hip check there, because you can see that Supra is pretty wide out, but it could just be that Supra took a wide line. However, Bar has caught up, and now we got to go back. We got to see what all happened there. I think there was a touch. I think there had to have been a touch there, because Dom, yep, a tap hits Supra wide. Supra is out into the slippery part there, that painted part. Bar takes the position. It looks like Dom was just letting off the throttle to let Supra keep on going, but he ends up losing 2 positions. He's going to try to get a slipstream off of somebody here to try and keep up with these two and not lose this fight for first place, or not lose out of this fight for first place. Monza is not a place where you want to lose the slipstream from your class. If it is multi-class racing or whatever it is, singular racing, you don't want to lose a slipstream. I'm curious to know what tires B7 is on, because like he's barely out braking these cars into the first chicane. He's on the mediums. Okay, that explains it. I'm guessing most everyone in GR4 is on the softs. Yep, Supra is on the racing softs, as is Bar and Dom. So these cars, oh! Dom spun out in the second chicane, and that's Dom out of that race, at least for now. What happened? So hard to explain, because my view may be a little bit laggy. I'm not really sure. 'Cause that didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Let's see if we can't see it from behind Bar here. So here's Dom. It treated it almost like it acted almost like he took too much curb there, but he didn't. Like the reaction was so delayed, but that's how it acted, like he maybe ate that sausage curb and it took that short wheelbase car around, but that's not what happened. So don't look backwards. I want you to look forward. I want you to look forward. Oh God. Okay, well, there we go. We're just gonna go slow and see if we can figure out what happened. There is a moment where it looks like he bumps Bar. It didn't show on the screen for us, but there's a moment where it looks like he hesitates, like it was a bump, but maybe the hitbox was weird. Sometimes that happens with lag. So that also could have caused this, because there's a moment where his car just stops accelerating for a bit. But look here, like he doesn't even touch the sausage curb. So I don't know what kicked his car out, but he lost the rear end and goes around into this wall while Bar and Supra go off into the sunset. We'll take one last look at it in real time and then we'll move on. Just trying to figure out what happened to him. Brakes. Maybe disturb the car a bit. You can see there's a lot of brake and throttle input at that moment, so could have done it to himself. It looks like he was just trying to find the balance and didn't. So he's gonna have some catching up to do. Meanwhile, Hairraiser is up in front of Doug, having taken over first place from Doug here, and these two will continue to race together. But is it a battle now, or did Hairraiser just decide, hey, I've got to run on a slipstream, I'm gonna take it? Here comes Doug around the outside and crowding Hairraiser to the inside, so that Hairraiser is forced to brake early, and that gives Doug the corner there. So there is some back and forth between the two of these. That was actually a really brilliant move by Doug. I love doing that when people go very defensive into a corner. I will leave them there. I will crowd them into that defensive line, which forces them to brake early to make the corner. And hopefully you get a chance to then take it. Hairraiser back alongside, though, into the second chicane. Nope, maybe that was just the angle. Looks like Doug was up ahead. My bad. Meanwhile, Supra in first place in GR4, and Bar very far away from him indeed. What's that gap? The gap from Bar to Supra is 2 seconds. We gotta go back. We gotta go back and explain that, because we can. We have the technology. I think I see it. Oh, I also think I see that. Okay. So, Bar into Ascari is pretty close. Is right in Supra's slipstream here. But looks like gets into Ascari, okay, but by the outside, there we go. We're going wide, and now we're super wide. Very, very offline by then. You can see he was offline in the right-hander here. This upcoming right-hander, he just misses that. Apexes it late, ends up cutting the left-hander a bit, and just throws him super wide. Luckily, there's a lot of runoff there to catch the car, but the timing... Ascari takes perfect timing, basically. It's a very hard, complex of corners. It doesn't look like it, but it is. I'm really bad at it. That's how I know. So he messes up his timing there, and then here in the Parabolica ends up out in this slippery green part. That green part, as you can see, like, watch his tires. They're going to kick up a whole bunch of dust. And that's how you know that part of the track is dirty. It's slippery. It's got all the rubber and dust that gets blown off the track when cars pass by on the actual racing line, and so you lose grip. And so Bar lost a bit more time there. Probably the worst place to lose time, as you are headed into the longest straight on the track there. So that is GR4 completely separated. Happy Pappy and Type R are also not in each other's slipstream. Now, anything could happen. You know, someone make a mistake in a lap, or it's a 50-minute race. If you are slightly faster in a lap than someone else, you're going to eventually catch up to them if you are faster every lap. So there is still hope for GR4. Meanwhile, GR3, the first and second place train still going. Again, Hairraiser and Doug just showing their skill there, being able to stay together and race together and be quick together, even with some position swapping. But you can see the way they position themselves and position their cars. Hairraiser here going around the outside of the Parabolica with Doug, not to potentially get a pass, but simply to keep momentum as he was approaching him in the straight anyway. And now they will stay side by side in the front straight, and Hairraiser goes ahead and takes control up ahead in the slipstream, and now is in first place. And you'll watch these two will go back and forth trading positions. We've seen them all season long doing this, and just running away from the competition in exactly this way. The competition, meanwhile, B7 still having a lot of trouble with the track. I don't know if this is a lack of practice or what, but there's also the fact that he's on medium tires, which is not enabling him to keep up with the GR4 traffic, but also, you know, falling behind from just making mistakes on the track. Like, here's one here. Yep, looked like he was way too fast into that. Could have called it just too fast into the Parabolica. Does not brake in time for that, and that's going to be another several seconds lost by the end of the straight here. Meanwhile, behind, Dom Danger. How far is Dom Danger from Bar and Supra? Well, B7 is 6.3 seconds behind Bar, and Dom Danger's another 2.3 seconds behind that. So almost 9 seconds back for Dom Danger. So a lot of time to make up to get back into that battle for first place. Throttle too early, definitely struggled. Yeah, big struggle. You're talking about where Dom's spun there. It could have been throttle too early, but it just, like, the Alpha just doesn't make that much power. It's so hard to, like, overpower the GR4 Alpha on racing softs on the throttle, right? I mean, that would take a lot of doing. I think... Oh, there's B7 in the second chicane, just not their day today. And here comes Happy Pappy being followed by Type R, and I think Type R is a little bit closer to Happy Pappy than they were before. I don't know what the gap was before, but right now it's a second and a half between Type R and Happy Pappy, and I feel like it was further a while back. So keeping an eye on that. However, Type R is having some issues with consistency. You can look at Happy Pappy's last few laps. They're all in the high twos except one 201.3 back in lap 3. So, sorry, 201.8. So, a mistake cost them a second there. But Type R is seesawing between running a 2 flat and a 202, which, you know, a 202 flat, in fact. So, you're looking at a 2-second swing in lap times here, which is huge. If Type R could find some consistency, might be able to get up and get a position on Happy Pappy. Not that he really needs it. He has basically clinched third place in the championship. Doesn't have a chance to get better than third. So maybe he's just content to finish this race out. Meanwhile, Bar touching the sausage curb a bit there. You know what? Let's talk about these sausage curbs, all right, and how aggressive they are here at Monza. So the thing about Monza is that these chicanes are here to slow you down. Originally, can you turn around now? This is the worst. This is the worst. I genuinely hate the way this works. If I had my keyboard connected, I might be able to fix this. There we go. Fixed it. All right. So you can see the roadway continues. You see all those cones and those signs there. Back in the day, that was the original layout. There was no first chicane at Monza. I don't even think there was a second chicane. Monza is one of the oldest running tracks in Europe, and it was built in an era where cars weren't really known for handling. They were on skinny tires. You've seen old, like, pre-war race cars. They're on tires made for, like, carriages, like horse carriages, right? They weren't known for being grippy and being able to turn. What you were trying to do was go faster in a straight line than the person next to you, and be daring into those corners and drift into those corners. And so Monza was built in that era, and so this first straight just went on and on and on past this chicane. But eventually cars got too fast, and by cars I mean Formula One. Basically anytime a track gets less awesome, you can blame Formula One, because Formula One just continues to get faster and faster, and so the tracks have to get more and more boring. You heard it here. Anyway, so the chicane is put in, but obviously you can't have people cutting the chicane, right? So there has to be some sort of punishment for not respecting the chicane. And what you get is evil sausage curves. And what you're seeing, Bar's line here is going to avoid, you see that yellow part there? You know, I wish we could get more. We can. So this is what's known as a sausage curb. This one it looks relatively flat, but it's not. I assure you, right? And the crux of it is that if you hit this, it is going to launch the tire that hits it. You're gonna catch air, basically. Even if you don't catch air, there's a huge chance that depending on how low your car is, you're going to bottom out on it. Either way, that throws off your handling into the corner. It throws off your ability to turn the car because, you know, you have two tires doing the turning. If one of them's in the air, you're going to do less turning. So chances are if you hit this, you're going to go straight through here instead of following a nice ideal racing line through the rest of the chicane so you can get on the throttle as quick as possible on the outside here. There's also a huge sausage curb on the inside here. This one is so you definitely do not cut it. On top of that, you have literal speed bumps. You will catch air if you don't respect the chicanes at Monza. Pardon me. And that has been your lesson on sausage curbs. Now, don't get me wrong. These are not necessarily forbidden fruit, right? Depending on the car you're in, depending on the line you take, depending on the track, because not all sausage curbs are created equal. You can bump or straddle a sausage curb as part of your line. You know, some cars are able to straddle this and go right over the center of it and just cut this as much as possible. And other cars may not be that disturbed by bumps. I find the Corvette GR3 can eat bumps like nobody's business, including some sausage curbs on some tracks. So I'm not saying stay away from them necessarily. I'm saying be careful. All right. Bar eats a bit of sausage curb, as you see. Yeah, right there. It took the rear end out from him a little bit. You know what? I'm going to watch that again. Sorry, because I forgot to actually talk about what happened to Bar there. It wasn't that bad. Don't get me wrong. Nothing catastrophic about it. But you can just see, like, what happens when you eat a bit of curb. He almost spins it right there. And that means he gets on the throttle a little bit later right there, which means he ends up a little bit further behind Supra instead of closer. So again, these chicanes, the sausage curbs in the chicanes, all demand your respect. It is one of the reasons that makes this track such a challenge, even though it is a high-speed track. The chicanes are there to slow cars down. You can see Bar straddling that first sausage curb, as I talked about. So that's one place where you absolutely could, and I believe he straddled the second one as well right there in the second chicane. So not every sausage curb has to be avoided. Not every, not even in the same track. What's going on with Hair Raiser and Doug? The same, just doing our thing, chilling. There's no real competition. We are each other's competition, so obviously Hair Raiser doesn't want to lose Doug, and Doug doesn't want to lose Hair Raiser, because again, the whichever one of them wins this race is the one who wins the championship, and we don't want that. Bar, can you remind me what's the breakdown of points for finishing? Like, how many points do you get for what place? Because now I'm wondering, am I wrong about whoever wins it wins the championship? Because is it just 1 point difference? Uh-oh, Bar out wide in the Parabolica. They're just still trying to chase Supra. It looks like the fronts on those racing softs are starting to get a little bit warm, but they're not too bad. They are still serviceable. Dom Danger with a good amount of tread on his racing softs, and so they may be able to stay out a little bit longer on that faster tire than the other GR4 cars, which could help him jump up in order, not in order, but jump up a little bit closer. You know, I got Happy Pappy with Team B racing alongside, crossing the start-finish line on the front straight here. Happy Pappy has been trundling along happily in fourth place in the GR4 class. Haven't seen much drama from them. Type R still right there, and probably even closer than before. It was a second and a half last time we looked, and it's 1.3 seconds now, so not incredibly closer, but closer. Meanwhile, Bar is 3.8 seconds behind Supra, as you can see here. So a huge gap to that first place finish that he needs. Dom Danger is a little bit closer to Bar than before. Because if you recall, Dom Danger was almost 9 seconds behind Bar and Supra. Now it's 5.6 seconds between Bar and Dom Danger here. I see Doug, but I don't see Hair Raiser. What happened? Oh boy. All right, we're going way back. We're going way back. They are coming through. What is the name? Biasono. I don't know why I can't remember the name of that corner. But as they head here into the second chicane, oh, that's it. We talked about, what did we just talk about? We just talked about sausage curbs. Hair Raiser eats a ton of curb into the second chicane, and it completely throws that car off. The Alfa Romeo is not one of those cars that can eat curbs. It is exactly the opposite. It is the worst, or one of the worst, as far as these GR3 and GR4 cars when it comes to taking too much curb. Definitely when it comes to sausage curbs, because it is such a small car. It's very low to the ground. It also has a very short wheelbase. So if one wheel is in the air, chances are the wheel behind it is also right in the air along with it. It's not that much space between them. And so, you know, being in the air is the opposite of what you want to do if you're trying to control your car. So let's watch this from Hairraiser's point of view. In camera, just brakes and then tries to straddle the curb, and it doesn't work. I think he may be high centered on it, because I don't know if an actual wheel hit it. Let's see if we can get an angle that'll show us that, or we'll go to it and we'll pause and we'll see exactly where his wheels hit that curb. So here's where things get a little crooked. See the angle on that car down. There we go. So we've got one wheel up in the air, and it looks like, yes, it looks like he is high centered on that curb. The floor of the car is touching the curb. There may be, well, there's a little bit of air, but like, you know, I don't think he makes it through. Look how far over he is. He just tries to straddle it and can't. There's just not enough car to make it happen. So now he's got one wheel in the air. This one's headed up over the curb, and what's going to happen is the rear end of that car just comes out around on him, and he loses it. So yeah, you can see now that rear tire is also in the air right here. So at this point, not in control, trying to turn the car, and then it's going to land abruptly, and that's gonna break his grip. You see that bounce? It bounces right there. Look at that rear tire on the left. There's very little tire on the ground, very little contact patch there, and so just a loss of grip. It's still bouncing on him, and yeah, the back end just comes around. So he tries to hold on to it, and he kind of does. He fishtailed quite a lot. We'll just go in real time now. He fishtails a lot, but does manage to keep it on track. Ends up in the grass a little bit, but saves it from hitting the wall, but does end up spinning all the way around. And so he has now got an uphill battle for the rest of this race. Did 17 minutes racing along with Doug, and unfortunately has now lost him. Doug probably feeling pretty elated to see Hairraiser no longer behind him. Man, that sucked. First is 25 points. Second is 18 points. Okay, so there is a gap there, 7-point gap. And if we recall, if we go back to our standings, the gap between Hairraiser and Doug is 6 points. It's 6 points, y'all. So yeah. So if Doug wins this race, Doug picks up an additional 25 points. I should probably pause the race while we talk about this. We didn't miss anything. I promise we didn't miss anything. But Doug's sitting on 89 points. If he gets 25 points, he'll be sitting on, I don't know, do math. Somebody do math. 114 points. That sounds right. You know what? Let me make sure I do the math right. Okay. This shouldn't be that hard, but it is. Yeah, 114 points. And Hairraiser with 95 points would end up with 113 points. So it would put him 1 point ahead of Hairraiser for the championship. Obviously, if Hairraiser wins the race, he has won the championship. So yeah, Yeah, those are the stakes, okay, in GR3. That's how close it is. Doug needs this win. And Hair Razor may have just handed it to him with that huge mistake there. We're gonna wait for Hair Razor to get back up to speed to find out what that gap is between them. Meanwhile, Doug has just lapped Happy Pappy. I think that's our first lapped car, which is crazy to think about. We're 11 laps in, but Monza is such a fast track that it took 11 laps for the GR3 cars to lap the GR4 cars, because their top speeds aren't that different. The GR3 cars are obviously faster than the GR4s in a straight line, don't get me wrong, but the GR4s are also not that slow in a straight line, and this racetrack is mostly straight lines. By the way, Hair Razor went ahead and jumped into the pits and took fuel, took a new set of racing softs, and so that sounds like a strat change to me. I don't know what Hair Razor strat was originally gonna be, but I just feel like if you crash and you go in the pits and you take a fresh set of softs instead of some mediums and more fuel, it sounds like you're about to try to go in and get some crazy laps out. Gonna have to bust them out. And now's probably the time to do it while Doug is on worn softs. That gap is 41.5 seconds. So I don't know what Hair Razor's plan is right here. I am not a strategist. I wish I had a mind for it, but it's going to be very interesting to see what he tries to do here, because at this point, the championship is lost if he's not able to catch up and pass Doug. Meanwhile, GR4, it looks like it's Supra's race. Doug is into... It's 20 minutes into the race. I guess we're almost at the halfway point, so maybe this is where they're going to pit anyway. But I don't know. It just feels like... It feels like Hair Razor Crash decided to pit, and Doug said, oh, no, you don't. Me too. He probably paid attention. He's probably putting on another pair of set of softs here. We're going to see in a moment. Yes, he comes out on softs. No, he comes out on mediums. Mediums, but not a lot of fuel. I think he's going to go ahead and try to get his medium tire, his medium stint done here. So not looking to... figure it out. It's hard to get your braking right on that first lap out. Yeah, gets a 1 second penalty there for cutting the chicane, unfortunately, but that's gonna help Hair Razor a little bit. But obviously Doug not hoping to run away from Hair Razor right now, just hoping to get through that medium stint and see what happens if they meet later on down the road. Bar, meanwhile, still chasing down Supra. And trying to find a consistent lap time, it looks like. Not too bad the last 3 laps, 57.8, 6 thrown in there, in fact, 0.2 quicker. I'm sorry, no, it was a 58.8. So yeah, struggling for lap time a little bit. Struggling for consistency, which we have seen. Supra, meanwhile, doing a little bit better. Lap 8, there's a 58.12 there, so obviously something happened, but for the most part, keeping it together. We can see that car is getting a little bit slower. That makes sense. Those tires are starting to get a bit long in the tooth, and so braking, cornering, all the things that the Lambo isn't necessarily known for being great at, are going to be a little bit harder. Not that it's terrible at those things, don't get me wrong. It's just not really known as a handling car, though it handles decently enough that it's a great car to take, especially if you need some speed. It is known for top speed, especially the GR3 one. Happy, a bit wide in the Parabolica, keeps it together though. Type R is still back there, looks like a bit further behind than the last time we checked. Yeah, 2.5 seconds behind now, so no longer close like he was. Doug, meanwhile, has gotten rid of over half of that penalty already. Where is Hair Razor? What's this gap? Hair Razor is 15.6 seconds behind, and is on the softs. We'll see how long that soft stint lasts. Doug is on the mediums, obviously. Hairraiser's gonna have to take the medium tires. Hey, Super Ninja. Hairraiser's gonna have to take the supers. It's gonna have to take the medium tire at some point. But right now he's on a tear. He just goes purple in the first sector. So yeah, he's looking for something. Throws down his absolute fastest lap so far, and probably the fastest lap of the race, I would guess. Yep, that's a 47.562 so far, compared to Doug's best lap of a 48 flat. Granted, Doug again will probably jump back on the softs at some point. Maybe. I mean, maybe he's not really worried about Hairraiser catching up to him there, because maybe by the time Hairraiser catches up, he's gonna have to go on the mediums. But not sure. But Hairraiser again, purple sector, and is probably going to put down another very, very fast lap, especially getting a slipstream off of some of these GR4 cars here. Team B7, our third GR3 car, is in the pits now. Just a really, really unfortunate showing for them. I didn't realize it, but it looks like lapped cars are ghosted in this race, which makes it a little bit easier for the GR3 guys to make a pass. A little bit harder for the GR4 though. It's even though your car is translucent, it's kind of hard to see when there's another one cornering inside of you there. But I'm guessing that's a choice that the coordinators or stewards took to maintain some safety. So Hairraiser easily lapping Happy Pappy there to continue their race. Dom Danger, meanwhile, is in front of Bar. Neither one of them is pitted. What happened? What did we miss? Let's go see it. Oh man, it happened a long time ago, whatever it was. What has Dom caught up to Bar in the first place? Wow, we are still going back. So, whatever it was, I don't know if this is a mistake was made on Dom's part, but yeah, here's Dom Danger, pretty far away for now. We're in lap 12. We just went back a good amount, trying to find out if maybe Bard had an issue on track there. But I think Dom just kind of caught up. Bar, was that a mistake in turn one? It didn't really look like one. But here is Dom, sure as rain right there. Granted, Dom did have a better set of tires. Ooh, almost lost it there in that second chicane. Slightly better tires, not a huge difference between the two of them, but maybe enough that it's making a difference in the corners, because that's where we see Dom really starting to catch up to Bar here, and eventually, as we know, it's going to turn into a pass. Here they go through Seraglio as they enter Ascari. Again, Dom even closer to Bar here. Bar, remind me, are you on a controller or on a wheel? Dom just creeping ever closer and closer, and goes from not being in a slipstream in one lap, and literally by the very next lap here in the start-finish straight where we first caught up to them, Dom is now trying to make a move up the inside on Bar, having trouble out of the slip, but outbrakes Bar right into the first chicane. Perfect braking into that, perfect turn in, and gets the position. That's a really nice pass, actually, by Dom to get that position and end up in front of Bar. as I said, B7 into the pits. Happy Pappy and Type R just passed by. B7's gonna probably jump on those softs now. Doug, meanwhile, enjoying all this freedom on those medium tires. No one behind. No one. I mean, well, people behind, but no one chasing urgently yet. Though we do know Hairraiser is back there on an absolute tear. Your thought process was let him pass in Slipstream. Gotcha. Makes sense. And you're on a controller. Okay. What is that gap between these two? Down to 12.3 seconds now. So Hairraiser's taken 3 seconds out of Doug since the last time we checked, just a couple of laps ago. Again, we're going to see if Doug is going to stay on those mediums. Or if he's going to go ahead and jump on the softs, knowing that Hairraiser has to pit again to take the mediums at some point, means that Doug may be okay to stay on them for the duration of the race, but it probably wouldn't hurt to go ahead and pit when Hairraiser pits and just jump on the softs while Hairraiser jumps on the mediums. Because right now Hairraiser's catching up, and if Hairraiser jumps in, gets a set of mediums, and is able to keep up with the worn set of mediums that Doug will be on at that point, there could be trouble. Supra in the pits. That's our first place GR4 car. Getting nothing done. I don't see fuel going in. I don't see tires happening. What's going on? You forget to hit a button. Is he AFK? Okay, I guess the animation is just off the whole time. Supra was fueling up, comes out with 100% fuel in that tank, and a brand new set of racing mediums. Type R is also in, so it's Happy Pappy. So these two are gonna come in and grab the softs. Bar and Dom, meanwhile, are still out on their original set of tires and should probably be jumping in soon. Let's just listen to some race car noises. I'm talking a lot. Now we see both Dom and Bar in, as well as Doug coming in to get out of those medium tires. That's what I expected. It's going to jump onto the softs. I think Hairraiser does get past. That's Hairraiser passing now and headed into the first chicane. But Hairraiser, again, is going to owe a pit stop. So as long as Dom is able to get out in a decent amount of time here and do a little chasing on those softs himself, he should still be okay. Comes out in a lot of GR4 traffic, though. Is able to get past two of them, and will have to get past Supra. But, oh yeah, never mind. Ghosting's on for lap traffic, so it doesn't matter. So, he's going to be able to drive right through. It's not going to be traffic for him, which, I don't know. It kind of takes away from the multi-class aspects for me. A huge part of multi-class racing, to me, is having to navigate traffic, and the way traffic can completely change the face of a race. But I'm the commentator, not the organizer. Doug, careful. Those tires are cold. Watch yourself. They're softs, but they're cold softs. Careful in that second chicane there. Let's come out. How far behind Hairraiser is he? He is 20 seconds behind Hairraiser. I didn't count how long the pit stop is, but I think it's longer than that. Pit lane is pretty long here, and Hair Razor is probably gonna have to take fuel on this pit stop as well, so it'll definitely be longer than 20 seconds. Hair Razor's gotta try to keep on running away here as the car gets lighter, and you see just went for another fastest lap the lap before this one. It's got a 47.1 on the lap before this one. Obviously picked up a 1 second penalty somewhere, and is gonna have to get rid of that over the course of the race. But for the most part, Hair Razor still has a chance. It just comes down to how quick these laps are gonna be. Dom, what happened? Dom chicane 2. Did something happen to Dom in the second chicane? Is that what you're trying to tell me? That's a long way to go back. Okay, so here we are coming out of that pit stop. There is Doug passing by. Here's Bar. Dom on the brakes. Why did Dom brake there? Interesting choice. Interesting decision. Yeah, just all the way down to like 50 mile an hour there. I'm not sure that I can explain that. They were in the race with Bar. Right behind Bar, came out of the pits right with Bar, and decided to hit the brakes. But let's see what happens. Oh, you thought chicane 2. Maybe nothing. Okay, so maybe that's, you're saying you thought that's why they were far behind you? Well, we'll stick with them just in case. See if something happens in the second chicane. We've seen one red Alfa Romeo go down in the chicane. Wouldn't be surprising to see another. Almost does the same thing, but you know the difference between the GR3 car and the GR4 car is that the GR4 car has a much more compliant suspension. And so even though it is tiny, there's a lot more suspension movement in that thing. And so you can see it kind of eats the curb a bit better. It does bounce a bit, but there's, you know, a lot of movement in that suspension. You can see the rear tire just barely loses contact with the ground. And so it's not as dramatic a bounce as it was for Hair Razor in the GR3 Alpha. Yeah, but anyway, nothing really happened to them there. No, they just slammed on the brakes before turn 1 for some reason. Interesting. Meanwhile, any excitement? B7, always exciting when we come see him. At this point, how far behind? Can I see the gap to first place here? I can't see the little gap to first place. But it's big. It's a big one. Okay? Big old gap to first. In fact, he's 2 laps back. I hadn't even noticed. B7 is on lap 15. Hair Razor and Doug, Hair Razor at least, is on lap 17. Doug is about to cross the line and get on lap 17 as well. So B7 has been lapped twice over by their field mates here. Dom Danger into the pits again. Is that maybe he realized, oh no, I made a mistake. I took the softs again. And I need to take the mediums, but man, I would have just milked those softs for a bit and grabbed the mediums for, you know, a few laps. But comes out on the expected tire, and yeah, that's probably what that braking was. Okay, he forgot medium tires. Well, I mean, why not? Why not just run with the softs for a bit longer? Why not? At this point, the mistake was made. You might as well try to, like, kill some time. But, oh well. Now on the mediums. Who's this? Type R and Happy Pappy running together again. Little Happy Ferrari and Lambo friendship between these two. Racing for not last place, which is valid. Hey, some days that's your race. Some days you are racing for not last. I've been there. It happens, you know. You're just not in the top running, but there is something to fight for, and that is called not last place. Hairraiser still eating more of that penalty, still out on the softs here. Got less than a quarter tank of gas left, but that's still enough gas for a few more laps in this alpha here. So doing okay so far. Don't know if these fast laps are gonna be enough to get into the pits and take the mediums and still come out ahead of Doug, but he's trying. He is definitely trying. Now what happened here? We have a GR3 car. I believe that was Hairraiser. Yes, Hairraiser coming to lap Happy Pappy and Type R, but whatever happened to Happy Pappy and Type R happened a while ago. What in the world? Is it just Type R caught up? Here we are in Ascari. Oh yeah, Happy Pappy super slow on Ascari, and Type R pulls up in the slipstream here. Here's Happy Pappy trying to make that Lambo as wide as possible, but Type R goes up the inside and is going to have the inside for the Parabolica, and if he brakes right, should keep this position. I believe he does, and that is Type R up ahead of Happy Pappy. So that's how it happened, and what we saw was just some GR3 traffic coming through. Just gonna fast forward through it all, back to where we were, and then here comes Hairraiser. That's the tail end of what we saw there. That blue flag waving for both of these cars, but it looks like Type R had already made the pass on Happy Pappy. Type R into the wall at the first Lesmo. Happy Pappy trying to get a pass done and cannot, but wow, yeah, that's probably not what he expected there. Here comes Type R. Oh, you don't see the angle. That's because I was looking at Happy Pappy. Sorry, let me go back again. Here they are in the second chicane, and we are on board now with Type R as they enter Lesmo 1 and just loses the rear. Boom, into the wall right there. And you can see here comes Happy Pappy trying to find a safe way around there. Doesn't end up doing so. Here comes that GR3 car to make the pass. Ooh, Type R misses a shift though, probably getting thrown off by that car going through, and that brings Happy Pappy a little bit closer. Can Happy Pappy make something happen into Ascari? No, he's gonna back off. He's gonna back off, but Type R did miss a shift there, and that was almost Happy Pappy getting that position back. Didn't really expect to see a fight from these two tonight, but they have been racing pretty close to one another all night long. I guess I shouldn't be surprised that some drama hit them. We'll come back and check up on them in a few. Meanwhile, Hairraiser is almost out of fuel. May have enough for one more time around, but let's see if he jumps in. Yep, it's going to go ahead and jump in now and take the medium tires. Doug, meanwhile, is approaching the Parabolica, and Hairraiser still has not reached the stall yet, and it's going to have to take both fuel and tires. Here he is in the stall. Here come the tires. Doug, meanwhile, turning the Parabolica now and is about to pass. You can see Hairraiser's arrow on the right there. So that's Doug making the pass for first place. Hairraiser is still waiting on fuel to go into that Alpha, and he's going to be coming out on the slower tire as well. So Doug back into first place. However, there's something that Bar put into the comments that I hadn't seen earlier. Apparently, if Razor gets second place and the fastest lap, it's a tie for the championship. I didn't know there were points awarded for fastest lap, but that makes sense. And so far, I believe Hairraiser does, in fact, own that. Yes, with a 47-1. Now, Doug's not slow, but I don't know that Doug can outlap Hairraiser. He is out on the softs now with a 47.5 as his best lap so far. So he's got to come up with 4/10 there, more than 4/10 actually. It's a 5.75 versus a 0.105. So almost half a second to beat Hairraiser's time. Hairraiser can't possibly beat that time though. So a 47.1 is the time for Doug to beat to clinch this championship. And that car is still pretty full on fuel, and I'm afraid that by the time he burns off enough to get to the point where he could hit that kind of a lap, he's not going to have much left in those softs. Well, he will, but not enough for a fastest lap. Hey, Takao, but we'll see. We'll see. I wonder if Doug knows that that's the kind of pressure he's under right now to actually win this championship versus it being a tie. Meanwhile, Supra looks on track to clinch the GR4 championship here. Bar, can you give me a breakdown on what points are needed for Supra to win? Meanwhile, I'll throw the standings up one more time here. And actually, before I do that, just throw that right there. What matters when you're looking at the standings is what's on the left, the name of the driver, and what's on the right, their total points. So we can see both here. Hey, Lawheads, Supra, first place only. First place only. That's what we're hearing. So what we have is Bar is up ahead of Supra in the championship. And it's a 4-point gap, so I think if Supra beats Bar, he gets the GR4 championship. Bar, tell me if I'm wrong about that, please. Tell me if the math ain't mathin'. But Bar isn't that far away. at all, really. And I feel like he was, but now Bar is 2.5 seconds behind Supra in that Huracan. So maybe a chance there for him. Here comes Team B7 Racing, though, to try and lap them. B7 is on the softs and should be faster than these two cars in that car on the soft. However, we've seen him struggle with consistency and trying to get past the GR4 field. In fact, I don't think B7 has been past the GR4 field all race. Basically, who wins gets the championship. That's what I thought. Okay, cool. So, between Bar and Supra, whoever wins the race wins the championship. Where's Supra? Up here. B7 in between. Bar. Probably getting a little bit of slip from B7 for a moment, but I think out of it by now. Dom Danger, meanwhile, just hasn't been in the race since having to go back into the pits and take the medium tires again. So I think that is race done for him. Team B7 Racing out in the first chicane. That puts Bar back past him. So struggle for the GR3 driver to get up. What are we looking at here? Hair Razor on the mediums, 7 seconds behind Doug. Doug's on softs. The race isn't over till it's over. Okay, we have 9 minutes of racing left. Anything could happen. It is Monza. Even if Doug is on the faster tire, Doug needs to win and get the fastest lap to win the championship. Hair Razor just needs second place and fastest lap to tie the championship, and currently he has that. So Doug is going to have to try to put the afterburners on, but may not have the pace. I just don't think that Doug has the same pace as Hair Razor. It's similar, but if Dom comes first, Super second, me third, I win. But we will see if he catches. Okay. I'm imagining a scenario in which Dom comes in first, and all I can see is disaster. Is the scenario that comes into my mind. Is what disastrous thing would have to happen for that to work. But that's racing. Type R is back behind Happy Pappy and behind him by a lot. We're not going to go back and try to find out what happened, but I'm guessing it was something pretty devastating, considering that Happy Pappy is entering the second Lesmo while Type R is just now entering the first. So just that gap has widened. We don't really have a race to watch right now, but I'm interested to see what happens in GR4 with Bar chasing Supra as we approach the end of this race here. About 7.5 minutes left to go in this season. A win by 1 point is a win. Dom is a very good driver. Yeah. If I win, sorry, Crazy as a Lamborghini can get beat by an Alpha. In terms of raw power, this is a custom BOP, so it's definitely possible that the Alpha can keep up with this particular BOP. I don't know the specifics of it. Maybe Bar can speak to it. But am I right? This is it. I've been saying that for every race. This is a custom BOP, right, for everything. Here is B7 trying to make a pass on Bar, a lap pass. I don't see that Bar. There he is. Okay, he's ghosting now. He's got a penalty anyway. A second of penalty. Oof. B7 going super wide in the first Lesmo and catches a little bit of air. Finds a little ramp out there that I didn't know existed. And takes a little jump. What is this? Why? Why is Hair Razor in front of Doug? Okay. Okay. Here we go. Here we go. We're going back. So. I'm Doug. Why is Hair Razor so close? Alright, I'm gonna go to the beginning of this lap, and that's it. Lap 24. Here comes Doug. Hair Razor, very far behind. And on slower tires. Carrying more fuel, so a heavier car. That's what we know about the situation. By the way, after the race, I'm gonna stay and stream some Bathurst racing. I'm gonna do race C for a little bit tonight. I was doing it earlier in the week. I really enjoy racing at Bathurst, so if you want to stay and watch me do that, then please do. I'll be here. Anyway, I'm Doug. Here's Hair Razor. How far away is Hair Razor at this point? 2.9 seconds. And I don't even feel like... Hold on, because that don't seem right either. We're going back again. 3.6 seconds into the first chicane. As they approach the second chicane, still a 3.6 second gap between these two. Doug goes through the second chicane. Not too badly. Ends up a little bit outside. But all of a sudden, it's 2.9 seconds is the gap between Doug and Hair Razor after the second chicane. What is Hair Razor on? Fresh mediums, but they're not that much fresher than Doug's softs. They should not be quicker. So what happened? Does Doug make a mistake? Here's the Scary. Oh yes, wide in the Scary, just messes that up, ends up in the kitty litter on the outside of it, and that is definitely going to let Hair Razor get closer. 2.6 seconds and probably growing as they go through this straight. So now Doug enters the Parabolica and should have more grip here than Hair Razor does, and should gain a bit of speed on him. But what we see from what we saw was that he still doesn't lose Doug, Hair Razor rather. And here's Hair Razor now, I think, in his slipstream. Yes, as they enter the first chicane. Hair Razor just kind of barely making the braking there. You heard the tires a little bit, not a full lockup, just a little bit of a squeak. But here is Doug. We're gonna watch. He's on racing mediums, and he's still reeling. Sorry, Hair Razor's on mediums, and he's reeling Doug in, and passes Doug easily into the second chicane. Doug doesn't even try to outbrake him, even being on the soft tires. So how did this happen? Now, of course, Doug could at some point hopefully make a move to get that position back, maybe going into turn 1 into the first chicane. I would say it's probably the safest place to try to make that move. But yeah, Hair Razor comes from several seconds back on racing mediums to get up ahead of Doug. And I wonder if Doug feels like he needs to save fuel. I wonder if Doug slowed down on purpose to get a slipstream and save fuel behind Hair Razor. I don't know that he has enough to finish the race here. I think he just short shifted. We're going to take a look in the straight as they come through the last corner here. We're going to take a look at Doug's shifting and see what he's doing behind Hair Razor, because he lost several seconds to his competitor there, and I'm not really sure why. However, if the goal is to save fuel, yes, he shifts severely short in the 6th gear there. If the goal is to save fuel and maybe make a move at the last second with those soft tires, that makes this very interesting. However, it takes away his ability to get to win the championship. He's not going to be able to get a faster lap behind Hair Razor, but this could guarantee that he at least gets a chance to tie for first instead of ending up in second place because he ran out of fuel, or worse, if he runs out of fuel and more people pass him. Can I join in Bathurst? Yes, of course. I'll just be doing daily racing. You may. Doug with a penalty, a half-second penalty behind Hair Razor. That makes things look a little bit better for Hair Razor. I bet Hair Razor's hoping Doug makes a huge mistake behind him. Spins out in his dirty air or something, right? Doug was fuel saving. Razor was constantly full sending it. Plus on pad. Worst steering response. Is this the bathroom? I'm curious. Okay. So Doug chilling behind Hair Razor, like I said, looks like definitely fuel saving because he is shifting that alpha way earlier than you normally would. Hair Razor has to know that that's what Doug's trying to do here. And Doug's gotta last 2 more minutes. They're doing 150s right now. And yeah, they're gonna cross the line and have, I think, 2 more laps because of how much time is left on the clock here. No, well, they might not. No, I don't think they will. In fact, I math wrong. So Doug's gonna have to try to make that move very soon. He's definitely low on fuel, and definitely running out of race. He needs to get first place to tie for the championship. He cannot win the championship, but he could end up in second place or worse unless he gets past Hair Razor before the final or before the checker flag. Got a yellow flag up front. That's Team B7 Racing. Meanwhile, Bar and Supra, what are we looking at? Supra coming out of Ascari. Bar still in Ascari, so quite a gap between these two, plus Bar having to get rid of penalty as well. Dom Danger way behind. Hasn't even entered Ascari yet. But we've got these two. Doug a little bit wide behind Hair Razor. Doesn't lose too much time though. He's gonna have to be real careful there in that slipstream. The fronts on the softs are a bit worn out. And so he's going to have to be careful in braking behind Hair Razor, especially with a slipstream. But here they come, about to cross the line and have to take another... No, they don't have to take another lap. So I was right the first time. They finished. This is the finish. Hair Razor behind, ahead of Doug, because Doug ran out of fuel. Or was in danger of running out of fuel. So Doug does not get to tie the championship. Hair Razor wins it all. Supra is going to win this race for GR4. Bar is finished, but only because Supra crossed the line before. I think Supra is technically done, though. It's got those hazards on. Sometimes it can be weird with the race timing when it ends, as far as who's still racing and who's not. But we've got Bar done, Team B7 done, Danger, Dom Danger done. Happy Pappy is about to go into the last turn and finish soon. It's showing Supra as technically still racing, and we'll see right here in this corner if that's correct. Because the game normally takes corners way too slow. Yeah, it starts braking super early. Yeah, I think, and the hazards are on. I think he's technically done. I don't really understand how this works, why the game does this, but it doesn't. So no Bono, my tires are dying moments for Doug. What? Could have done another lap, but I had no fuel left. Yeah. So, Supra, congratulations on, what? Maybe Supra is in control? I'm so confused. Supra, congratulations on the GR4 championship. Hair Razor, congratulations on the GR1 championship. Very, very interesting to still win it after spinning out and ending up so far behind his opponent there. But Doug just miscalculated his fuel for the end of the race, and well, here we are. Whew. All right, y'all. That was good. That was fun times. I am going to